I was very pleased to reach this point in the pathways because it's the research and presentation speech. And I've always wanted an excuse to do some research. I mean, I spent my career doing it, but it's nice to have the opportunity to do something completely different. Because part of the idea behind the speech is to do something, look up something, investigate something you wouldn't normally do. And I thought, now is my time to investigate a mystery that has plagued me for 16 years. And now I could find out the truth. I could dig deep into Toastmasters lore and find out something that I've always wondered about at every single meeting. Why are speeches 5 to 7 minutes? I have no idea. I wonder why. There must be a reason. There has to be a reason. There has to be some scientific principle, some psychological reason, some philosophy behind it all. So I will investigate this. I will do my research into this and feed back what I learn from my lovely colleagues in public speaking. So obviously I started in the most obvious place, the Toastmasters website. I looked up why are speeches 5 to 7 minutes. Of course the answer was there. It's so you can say one or two things. And it stopped there. No reason, no good solid underpinning evidence. It's no science, soft science. Dug deeper and dug deeper. Nothing. No, just essentially, it's a good time. Now, you could argue it's probably because you can squeeze them all in for an evening. But I would imagine this was chosen a long time ago. In the original speeches put by Ralph Chestnut Smedley, I am sure he chose those times. But there had to be a reason. So, okay, Toastmasters, for once in its life, is not going to deliver the answers for which I seek. So I'll have to dig deeper. So I just searched onto the internet. Why are speeches particular lengths? And I was deluged by any number of pop psychology reasons. It's this, it's that. It's to do with the sort of attention span. It's to do with how people respond. It's to do with how people turn off and turn on. But it was always that's great, but where's the science? Where's the underpinning thing? So I thought, focus on one thing. I dug into a site, dug down, saying it's 15 to 20 minutes because that's the attention span of people. I thought, that's great, well, where's the science? I found another site saying 15 to 20 minutes because that's the attention span of people. And then another site, 15 to 21 minutes because that's the attention span of people. 15 to 18 minutes because that's the attention span of the speaker. Again, and just repetition. Repetition's great. It helps people retain things. But it's got to come from somewhere. It's got to have started from somewhere. And at no point in this journey into pop psychology could I see the starting point. So I thought, went back to the search engine. Well, I'm going to have to say, don't show me any of this pop psychology. Actually go to the hardcore science. Let's start looking in psychological journals. So I dug into that and say, okay, well, this 15 to 20 minutes, is that the attention span? And I looked into this. Attention span. What do you think the average attention span is? Anyone?
30 seconds.
7 minutes.
It doesn't matter what you say because you're all wrong. And you're all right because no one knows. There's a short attention span of around about 8 seconds. And you'll have seen the memes. You can't go to Facebook without seeing them. Kids today, attention span less than a goldfish. We all have short attention spans. We're all constantly keeping our eye open for the tiger that's going to leap up and kill us. We're all, every 8 seconds, we're keeping our eye open. That doesn't mean we can't concentrate on other things. It doesn't mean we can only do one thing at a time. So that's meaningless. 15 to 20 minutes. We can concentrate for that. Have you ever seen a film? Has anyone seen a film? Raise a hand if you've seen a film. Within 20 minutes, generally, you somehow sit down and make it through that. So it's not that. In fact, if you delve into the research, people can concentrate for up to 5 hours. Now, it's not perfect concentration for all that time. It wavers, but generally you can sit down and focus on a task for 5 hours, which is why, again, we don't work for 15 minutes. We don't go into work for 50 minutes, get paid, say, well, I did a fine job today for your 15 minutes, go home. No, of course, we can do about 7 hours a day, so 5 hours of concentration, we can squeeze that in. It's a good number. But no one ever mentions that. So I didn't get any closer doing that. But what, I'm on something here. It keeps coming up. I will dig down and dig down and dig down. And eventually, I found a clue. A paper which had done a meta-survey. It had dug into all the information about this particular subject, about why it was 20 minutes. And it went back to 1974. Someone had studied students in lectures and noticed that at 15 minutes, they stopped taking notes. Now, I was a student. I sat through a lot of appalling lectures, and I thought, well, at this point, I'm not taking any more notes. That's not good science. But yet, on the back of that, everyone is saying that you only have 15 minutes, 20 minutes, despite the fact we know that isn't true. We've sat through films, we sit through plays, we can sit down and work for a full day. But yet somehow people seem to think it's 15 to 20 minutes. Yet there are things that we do in that period of time. There is something called vigilance, where we can concentrate for 15 minutes, and then after that we get slightly distracted and our concentration falls slightly. But we still can't concentrate beyond that. It's just a peak concentration, and it's a very slow drop off after that. So that didn't get me very closer. There's also the boredom threshold. Now, I'm sure no one in this room has ever experienced boredom. But what happens is after 15 minutes, if you're not doing anything, you will do anything. There was a great experiment where people, when they were stuck in a room with nothing to do after 15 minutes, would start doing anything. There was a little electrocution thing there. People would go up and start playing with it just to do something. So yes, there is a point where our minds start reinventing things. It doesn't mean we can't concentrate. But I was getting no closer. So I thought I'm going to have to go back in time and think about where this all came from. And I would get my answer. And then I realised, of course, Ralph came up with this in the 20s. Who was president in the 20s? Woodrow Wilson. And what did Woodrow Wilson say? Well, he was a great fan of George Bernard Shaw, as I'm sure we all are. He always said, I can't write you a short letter because I haven't got enough time. But I can only write you a long one. And that very much influenced what Woodrow Wilson said. And this is something I'm sure you'll all want to know. This is something that will live with you for the rest of your lives. He gave a speech and he said, you cannot live without knowing. And tonight, I'm afraid I'm out of time.